This video is a quick demonstration of how we've used geospatial market analysis to assess dealer network coverage and opportunities for network expansion. We have developed this market analysis tool using the Tableau software program in order to help visualize Mahindra's position in the American tractor market. We used regression to determine the types of agriculture that are statistically significant for predicting tractor sales and entered them into the Tableau database. Thanks to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we were also able to determine where these particular commodities are produced and then plot them on the map. Because we know the what and the where of commodity production, as well as how they relate to tractor sales, we can use this geospatial data as a proxy for likely tractor sales locations. It is important to note here that we have also included some commodities that were not statistically significant for predicting tractor sales, but are known to use 80 to 120 horsepower tractors. These commodities, like hay and cattle calf operations, have poor predictive power because of their presence in nearly all areas. So while not important for predictive purposes, they are still important to consider in this format. Here's a map of the United States that shows Mahindra USA's current dealer network. Each red dot signifies one Mahindra dealer. It's a nice map, but it's pretty generic. Wouldn't it be great to see how well Mahindra's dealer network aligns with the types of agriculture and production that most likely use 80 to 120 horsepower tractors? With Tableau, we can do that. Jet, what type of agricultural commodities do you want to assess?
How about soybeans?
Okay, fine choice. Up here in the Data Items menu, we can select the soybeans and reference them versus Mahindra's dealer network. The green dots represent zip codes with soybean production. We can see here that on the East Coast and through the central part of the South, Mahindra is well aligned with soybean production. But what about way up here in the Great Lakes region? Specifically southern Michigan, eastern Indiana, and eastern Illinois. Let's focus our sights on these three states. We can do that by deselecting all states and then choosing the three we want to see: Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. Now we can zoom in here to get a better view of the region. And we'll zoom one more time. There we go. Now let's increase the relative size of our data points to better visualize local soybean production. The larger the relative size of the circle, the greater the number of soybean operations. You'll notice that when you hover over one of these circles, say Clinton County, this banner pops up to show you that there are 170 soybean operations in the 46041 zip code. So from the map, we can see that Mahindra is well positioned in the southeastern part of the state. These dealers are in prime territory for the 80 to 120 horsepower segment and should be appropriately prepared for the transition to larger tractor sales. But how about in the northeastern part of the state? There are significant levels of production here. How have our closest competitors, in terms of market share, aligned themselves in this area? Well, with this program, we can begin to understand. Let's see where one of our competitors is located. Who should we look at first, Jad?
Show me case.
You got it. We can add another level of data to this map by selecting case in the Data Items menu. The black dots show that case has a strong presence in this region. We know, however, that they have been struggling in the 80 to 120 horsepower market. These specific dealers and the local customers they serve could be targets for Mahindra. You can also assess New Holland and Kubota. It appears that there is room for Mahindra to enter the market. But what about right across the border in Ohio? Are there any dealers over there that we need to be aware of? All we need to do is go to the States menu and select Ohio. It appears that Mahindra has solid locations in this area. We just need to cross the border into northern Indiana. In this way, we can target specific territories of agricultural producers at the zip code level. We can then overlay other agricultural types to see how many significant commodities are produced in this area. This helps us understand how attractive an area really is. We can look at several commodities and dealers at once, or one by one. The more different colors that overlay an area, the more likely sales are in this segment. We can see that this area is also strong for both dairy and hay. We repeated this process for several commodity types and created a chart of areas of opportunity. Each dot represents a county that we have identified as a target. The different colors correspond with the different commodity types. If you want to focus on one product in particular, you can deselect all ag types and pick only the ones you're interested in. For instance, we can select dairy, and we can see that northeastern Indiana is an attractive location. Likewise, if we select hay, we're able to see on a county-by-county basis where producers are being underserved by our closest competition. We have also organized dashboards to help show what is happening in this segment of the tractor market. The first dashboard shows national market metrics like overall sales and market share. The second allows the user to track the same data, but on a state-by-state basis. It also shows sales forecasts versus actual sales to shed some light on how the market is performing relative to projections. Thank you for watching this video. Now let's send it back to our presenters for a closer look at some of the areas of opportunity we have identified.